Oh, Jesus Christ. Supposed to be recording before you get into channel.
Yeah, but nobody was here. What am I supposed to fucking record? Me farting?
If a tree falls in the forest and your pod hosts aren't there, it doesn't count.
Okay, well, we're recording now, so I'm glad we got all that.
All right, are you good too, Jamie?
I followed directions.
I want to know what the hell is going on.
3, 2, 1.
Perfect. Certainly all this will not be in the episodes, right?
Oh, absolutely it will.
Why?
Welcome to Screen Share and Chill, a podcast about movies. If this is your first time here, welcome. We don't always do movies like we did last few weeks where we talk about really horrible people. This week, we're doing something fresh and new and wonderful for us. My name is Kelly, by the way.
I'm Keith, and if this is your first time here, what a shame.
Hey, wait. No, if this is your first time here, I think Ghostbusters is a great way to start. Yeah, speaking of which, we're doing Ghostbusters.
You spoiled it.
It's already on the title. They know.
We didn't let Jamie.
Yeah.
I just figured, after last week, I just get to laugh and giggle and throw interjections in when I feel like it. So my name's not necessary, maybe. I'm Jamie.
You hear that, Keith? You're sexist, Keith. That's all on you. She's pointing at you when she said that whole thing.
It's already off the rails. Why is it like this? I can't wait to talk about this movie, though.
I would say it's a breath of fresh air, but I think we have a comment that works better for
Adam, friend of the pod, Adam, and maker of music, Adam Emond. I should learn how to say
Emond.
Emond. Okay,
it's like almond, but with E. Remember?
Yeah, and that did no good for me. That's the crazy.
It helped me remember.
That's something a crazy person thinks. But
there's somebody who's psychic and sees ghosts all the time.
After listening to the Conjuring episodes, he wrote a pretty awesome little comment in our Discord. And Kelly, do you want to read that?
I'm not sure if I should read this in trying to sound all spooky, or if I should read this like a car salesman, because I think it has humor in it, depending on which way you want to do it. But I'm just going to read it straight.
Yeah.
So Adam wrote earlier today. When the universe hands you a new Conjuring film at the end of the series, near the end of the years of series, right as the world turns to autumn, the season of transition, of death and undeath, well, man, you hate to see an opportunity wasted. Oh, to have an excellent plan or beautiful coincidence right there, right in your arm's reach, but not be able to execute it because the thought alone is too gruesome, too evil. It's a pity. You could be right in the zeitgeist. It's like the podcast itself is haunted, possessed with the knowledge of the Warrens. If they taught us anything, it's that the church is no help when it comes to spirits and ghosts. So what do you do when an exorcism isn't the right call?
Ghostbusters!
Who do you call when the Warrens are not available?
The fucking Ghostbusters. I would love to see the Ghostbusters kick the Warrens' ass. That would be awesome.
Oh, it would be a short scene watching them and the Warrens just disappear.
It would have been so great to see Bill Murray go off against the characters of the Warrens. His character in Ghostbusters would have been just the perfect response.
Well, I'm also thinking that Venkman might have gotten along with the Warrens, and it would take Ray to say, I don't think we should be hanging out with these people, because Venkman is kind of a grifter.
Yeah.
At the beginning of this movie, he reminds me of Ed Warren.
He is.
He's taking advantage of young women, shocking and torturing young men, and lying about his expertise in the paranormal to try to get in people's pants.
He is, but he would totally recognize it in somebody else and call them out for it.
Right, it'd be
because
his
it would give him, it would give him more credibility that way.
He's seeing the competition, he'd get jealous and be like, "Get off my fucking turf!"
Basically,
he'd be walking
Back
around.
off, man! I'm a scientist.
Walking around with a little pump thing, and he'd be like, "These clowns don't know what they're
squirting
talking about."
it in their face.
Yeah.
Psst, psst, psst. I detect high levels of bullshit coming from this side of the room.
Exactly.
So I heard this question in another pod, and I thought, I'm going to totally steal this. I'm going to put our spin on it. If one of us was possessed by the evil spirit of Gozer the Gozerian or some kind of evil spirit, and they showed up to record the pod, what would be the tell? how would you know that it's not the real Kelly or the real Keith? Or
You
the
would
real
talk less.
Jamie? How would we know?
You would talk less.
You would talk less. That's a great answer.
That's my answer for Kelly.
You know, she's right though.
Yeah.
She's Kelly shows up and he's quiet and people are like, okay, are you depressed or are you possessed? There's only
one or the other. Depresso or possesso.
Wouldn't it be obvious? Because are you talking about like actually? Well, read the question one more time.
No, I don't have it written down. It's
Oh.
just if your co-host showed up and they were possessed or they were taken by a body snatcher or something like that, what would be the tell? How would you know that it's not the real Kelly, the real Keith, the real Jamie?
Well, we got you down the talk less thing.
I feel like for Keith it would be Kelly would be throwing out some bait about Star Wars and Return of Skywalker, and Keith wouldn't respond. I think that would be how we would know Keith was overtaken.
That could be it.
I was thinking for Keith, it would be like he'd be very like rude and mean because Keith is quintessential the kind of guy where somebody could come in the room and say, Keith, you're a dumbass piece of shit, and Keith would be like, whoa, hold on there, buddy. Like what caused you to say like I thought we were getting along just fine. So I think for Keith to be like, you know what, fuck you stupid motherfucker, that would be like, whoa, where did Keith go? I don't, unless it's about the Warrens. I
Right.
don't know. With the obvious thing with Jamie is if somebody said, hey, did you know the Lions are playing later? And she was like, oh, whatever.
Very true. Very true. Also, if you said that Conan was a great movie, and I said yes, it was.
Well, I was gonna
say,
say,
let's do some Arnold movies, and Jamie's like, oh hell yeah, I'd love to see this.
Let's talk about
I'll be back.
Let's talk about the triumph of feminism that is Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would also
yes. She'd come out and say, I love these android movies where women are sex objects. These are
yes,
fucking
that's
great.
the best.
This is the future I want for us. Okay, so without further ado, let's talk about the Ghostbusters. Does anybody have the fact sheet up or anything? Because
that's your job, buddy.
I didn't even care about facts. Oh, my feelings don't care about these facts.
Yeah,
it was a movie that was made in 1984. I know that. Yes,
We were all just babies.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, I was a child. I was alive during this time, so I remember this movie coming out, and it was everywhere. This logo was everywhere, even more so with number 2. But even with the first movie, like everybody, that like in 1985, everybody, or 1984 and 1985, everybody wore the utility. What do they call them? Like parkas with the pants. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, the jumpsuits.
Yeah, the jumpsuit. Yeah,
the one
the adult onesies,
the unitards,
the adult booties,
the unitards.
Yeah, everybody I knew was either doing that or Karate Kid. I was Karate Kid instead, but you know that was that time of.
Yeah, I
the
was
80s.
I was 2 when this movie came out, and by the time I was 4, it was like my favorite thing.
I was 5.
My favorite thing.
I was
I was
5.
a bit older than both of you. I was 6.
Ooh,
but-
so much older.
Yep, I was the elder in the room. I was the man smoking the pipe in the background. No, Ghostbusters, you do say. It's an old story. But yeah, their budget was 25 to 30 million, according to Wikipedia. Box office 370 million.
Fuck, that's awesome. What a
Yeah. Over 10 times return on investment. And also, like, that doesn't count, I'm sure, all the toy sales and the cereal sales and all the other sponsorship they got from this. Because, like I said, the logo was frippin' everywhere. You couldn't look anywhere and not see the Ghostbusters. Because, and nowadays, all of us just kind of associate that logo. Where, remember, you know, in 1983, nobody had any idea what the fuck that weird looking ghost with a do not sign over it. That was, you know, so. Do not ghost on premises.
no ghost.
Somebody should put that on their dating profile.
Yeah.
Like, please don't ghost me. If you're getting ghosted a lot, put this logo somewhere on your profile.
Look, I'm pro ghost.
So yeah, the only weird facts that I picked up on that I just in my normal research, like I didn't look up the top 10 trivia or Easter eggs or anything like that. A couple of things that people might not realize. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man suit was horribly toxic and uncomfortable, and it would get so hot that it would release fumes that would knock the actor inside of it out. And they said it could have been deadly because that foam could have caught fire from the heat of the lamps from the set and stuff.
Wow.
Really dangerous shit. Yeah. So when you're seeing those Stay Puft Marshmallow Man scenes, whoever is in that, God bless you, sir, madam, or person otherwise, because that sounds like very grueling, horrible work. The man that did the music, Elmer Bernstein. Oh, I forget which one. It's two brothers, Elmer and Leonard, and one of them goes by Bernstein and one of them goes by Bernstein. Elmer is...
I'm very familiar
Elmer,
with
yes,
Leonard Bernstein, so that would got to be Elmer Bernstein.
Nope, it's the other way around. Elmer pronounced his name Bernstein. Leonard used Bernstein.
That's what I just said.
According to Wikipedia.
Literally what I just said.
Okay. All right. I heard the opposite, but I guess we'll roll back the tape and find out later.
Play it back. Let's go.
So that would got to be Elmer Bernstein.
Nope, it's the other way around. Elmer pronounced his name Bernstein. Elmer pronounced his name Bernstein.
So that would got to be Elmer Bernstein. Literally what I just said.
But either way, Elmer Bernstein.
Why do you do this?
Was the... He did the music, and he was opposed to doing, using contemporary music in the soundtrack until he, after the movie came out and he was kind of, they pushed him in the direction they had to do this anyways. And then when he saw Ghostbusters was the number one song for like 10 weeks in a row. And he pretty much said, well, it's hard to argue with that, and let it go, and has since embraced the Ghostbusters theme by Ray Parker Jr. as the official theme song of the movie, even though he wrote a completely different score to it. But Elmer's score, his soundtrack is wonderful. I will say, like, the contemporary music from the movie, it works. It's not overly done so it feels fun and organic to me. Maybe just because I grew up with it. But the background music itself, we all remarked on when we were watching the movie the other night that the actual, like, music and the build-up and stuff was really creepy and really well done. It wasn't too hokey until it needed to be, but most of the time it actually was leaning into the paranormal, spooky without the camp. And I appreciated that.
All right. Well, is it time? Is it time that we talked about the good?
Sure.
Let's talk about the good.
So I hear you've got a lot in your good column, Keith.
Yeah, first off, since you started the conversation, the fucking music. Like, it's instantly exactly what it needs to be for the scene and for the mood. Like, that opening scene with there's all the, what are they called? The theremins, in the, ooh, it's like really, literally all that old spooky stuff, but it just fits and it just works, and it's like, throughout the movie, the music is exactly what it needed to be in the scene. It's a pretty wonderful score. And the songs that they used.
It's not a theremin. You're absolutely right that it sounds exactly like a theremin. It is a Ondes Martineau. Onde Martineau, I think. Martineau waves. It's a keyboard that's based off of the theremin way of making notes. So yes, you're right that it sounds exactly like a theremin, but it's played on a keyboard to give it more precise measurements between pitches and stuff like that. But yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Go right ahead.
Yeah, you just actually'd me about, you're like, it's not a theremin, it's a thing that makes the noises of a theremin.
Because I thought the same thing. I was like, how did they get this theremin player to play so precisely? Because theremins are notoriously difficult to get exact pitches on unless you're really, really good. And this movie does it like with reckless abandon. And I'm like, how the fuck did they do that? Well, they did it with a tool. So even the actual songs that are in the movie, like the scene when the containment unit busts and all the lights and specters are like swirling around over the city, and that I believe it's magic song. Like I had the cassette as a kid, and I fucking played that shit constantly of the entire Ghostbusters soundtrack. It sounds creepy.
Yeah.
It's and the Ghostbuster theme itself sounds like hopeful and fun, like they do, whereas that song sounded creepy. Like, I don't know. They did a good job with the music.
They did. It hit the beats right. It hit, like, you made a comment at some point during the movie, Kelly, like the music is kind of playing with the actors. Like, as they turned, everything was on beat. It was just really, really well done.
Yeah, like when Ray says something like, wait, and then you hear the piano go, doo-doo-doo.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Uh-huh. And so the soundtrack is playing with, it's a player on the stage almost with the actors, and I appreciated that a lot. All right, who's got another good?
I'll start with the fact that Bill Murray's character Venkman is set up to be creepy and sadistic from go. Like everything we learn about him in that first scene is he's creepy, he's sadistic, and he's out to get laid.
Dude, I have
Yeah.
for my entire life I have felt so bad for that guy that he's shocking.
Right?
I'm not like
he did nothing wrong. And that is so against so many different scientific protocols for informed consent and abuse of participants. Like, there's no way that an ethics board would allow this study to go forward.
And it's so funny.
It's horrible.
He spits his gum out and he's like, hey! Like, it looks like you can tell.
Jesus Christ!
It's so uncomfortable. It's so good.
And when he gets the answers right, he still gets shocked and told he's wrong. Like,
And after all this, as he's leaving, and I don't need the $5 that for $5.
Yeah.
Hey.
Getting tortured with electrical shocks for $5.
In 84, $5 could have bought you like a whole pizza and drinks.
Still a pizza to be
Right.
just shocked for however long.
Imagine going through all that, and then you get a pizza with the $5, and they fuck up your pizza, like it's burnt or something, and you're like, no! Like, what did I do all this for? Yeah, Venkman is, like, you have to admit, coming right on the heels of Conjuring, Venkman's early moves are eerily similar to Ed Warren.
Oh, yeah.
There's no denying it. I know we don't want to admit it, but there is a lot of, like, maybe they based it off of that grifter type from the 60s and 70s and early 80s. You know, maybe not him by name, but...
The difference is he's not a real person. That's what makes it
This
gross.
is not based on a true story.
Right.
Much like The Conjuring, this is not based on a true story.
People made this character because of how ridiculous he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the point.
And we see later on that he does come around, and you'd get it to the other point of he comes across as a snarky grifter at the beginning, but as the story goes on, you see that when we cut down the layers, we see that deep down he actually is a decent, good person. And that I'll just use that to segue right into one of my goods, Venkman and consent. He values consent, and I appreciate that. And you can see that in the sense that even though...
It's not for that poor guy.
Yeah, I mean, the study consent, maybe not as much, but as far as like sexual partners and consent, he's been chasing Dana this entire movie shamelessly, like just throwing himself at her every time she's in the scene with him. And then there comes a part where she is possessed and she wants to do him hard. And he's like, no. Why don't you just take a little nappy nap right here? And I was like, good guy Venkman. That's what you do. If you go over your crush's house and she goes from barely tolerating your presence to throwing herself at you and she looks a little odd, maybe call a doctor. Don't take advantage of the situation.
Right.
Sure, but I don't
and consent.
I don't want to give him like an award for not assaulting a clearly possessed person.
Okay.
That's like,
with the track record we've had in recent weeks, I do. I want to give him a decent human being, not a monster award for not
fair
taking
enough
advantage of someone.
And seriously, in our current culture and the way things are, the bare minimum is award worthy because, it's kind of crazy that the bare minimum is so rare, but it is.
And maybe movies like this, maybe little subtle ticks like this in movies are why people of our age grew up with this kind of knowledge of like when I was in college and we had a sexual assault seminars or stuff like that where they would teach you like this is what consent is and this is what blah 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 blah. And I'm sitting there going, well, yeah, if the person you're talking to is passed out drunk, they can't give consent. And I'm sure there were some people in the room going, oh, really? Let me write this down. I didn't think about that. Maybe movies like this are why it didn't seem like that odd to me that, I don't know.
Ray's enthusiasm throughout the movie is just delightful to watch. It was a free roaming, a 3-class free roaming vapor. Like he's just constantly like geeking out about this stuff. And I think the best example is when Peter gets slimed. And he's like, he slimed me. And he's like, that's great! We've never seen this before. And then he gets on the radio and he's like, Venkman got slimed. And Egon is like, that's great, Ray. Save some for me. It's so fucking funny.
He's just covered in snot. Save some for me. Yeah, sure, buddy. Here, you can have plenty of it.
Yeah, there's probably some kind of physical, like, active effect or something, because he's like writhing on the ground, you know, and it's just like, to them, they're like, this is fascinating, collect samples.
Yeah, very, very a Star Trek Spock looking at somebody writhing on the ground and saying, fascinating.
I mean, to be fair, if you were to cover me in head to toe in snot, I would also be writhing on the ground trying to get it off because I'd be so disgusted. So
yeah, that's a fair point.
And then Keith and I are both going, wow, this is great. Somebody get a bucket so we can collect some of this snot.
Yeah.
And I love Ray's plan, his enthusiasm coming through in his plan to catch the first ghost.
Get her.
All right, we get close to her, and now get her!
Yeah.
And Venkman giving him shit afterwards. Get her? That was your big plan. Get her.
I did write that ectoplasm looks like jizz in the good column because it's funny to me and it's gross.
I mean, I will say that if your ectoplasm comes out looking like that, then maybe go to a doctor. Maybe get checked. It's not supposed to be green.
Not the green stuff, but when they're at the library, I feel like that's kind of part of the joke when Peter has to collect some. It's all like he's like slinging it and it's like hitting cards and stuff.
And now I can't get rid of the mental image of, now that you've compared ectoplasm to jizz, now Venkman laying on the ground covered in
well, that was not green, you know. We don't. Yeah, I agree.
The look on his face where he's like,
Yeah.
Oh my god, Venkman got jizzed. That's great, Ray. Keep some for me.
Yeah.
One of my favorite lines is in this movie, and I use it all the time as somebody that I studied social science. The back off, man. I'm a scientist.
Yeah.
I fucking love that line.
Uh-huh. And another, just when Janine asked Egon, "What do you do for fun?" and his answer is, "I collect spores, molds, and fungus."
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Awesome.
And the fact that he walks away because he knows, like, that ends this conversation, I'm sure. Goodbye. Hey friends, Editing Kelly here. Jamie had a problem with her recording software, and from here out, I've got nothing for her. I will try my best to make sure that it makes sense, so have fun, enjoy. Oh, and to spoil it for you, she gave it a thumbs up. Yeah, getting a ghost blowjob every night cuts into your REM cycle, I'm sure. Does a ghost understand refractory period? Or anyway, we can just move on.
Jesus. When they're in the elevator and they turn the proton pack on for the first time.
And the other two scoot to the other side of the elevator. Like that 1 foot will give them protection.
It's so funny because it's like they're talking about how you know it's probably fine, and then the guy who built it, Egon designed it, when he turns it on and like backs away a little bit, that's upsetting. You know, like you don't want the guy who made it backing away.
Parents are covering their child's eyes as you walk past them. Yeah. The janitor is right behind you cleaning the whatever mess you're leaving as you walk. I appreciate the fact that the gatekeeper keeps getting locked out of his apartment throughout the entire movie. Oh, the keymaster. I'm sorry. Yeah, the keymaster keeps getting locked out of his apartment at every turn.
Dude, I've actually
Rick Moranis in general.
I've never considered that. That's funny. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the irony of him being the keymaster, because throughout the movie he keeps locking himself out of his own apartment, and every door he goes through he never has the key, but he's the keymaster. Uh-huh. Yeah, and just speaking of Rick Moranis, he's so fucking brilliant in this movie, and we talked a little bit after the movie ended about how this movie has been like a soundtrack in the background of a lot of our lives, and actually watching it and paying attention to what's going on visually, if you don't watch it, you miss out on like 75% of how fucking funny Rick Moranis is in this movie. He is hilarious. He is like, now watching it again years later, he is like, he's up there with the main cast as one of the funniest, most entertaining people throughout the entire movie. Brilliant job by Rick Moranis.
I love Possessed him. Yeah, what is that part where like Egon is somebody's posing and he's like trying to like match his pose or whatever, or like sniffing whatever he's holding. It's just outrageous. It's fucking awesome.
And even like the scenes where the EPA guy was in the building and he's trying to shut them down. And if you just watch the side of your screen, you'll see Rick Moranis like mimicking the guy and trying to mimic his movements, but sniffing people's fingers while he's doing it. And shit. It's wonderful. Rick, I don't know if he was just like this normally and he was that brilliant, or if he like piped up a lot with LSD and some smack or something. I don't know what the fuck he was on, but god damn, he was so random and brilliant to watch.
Gozer the Traveler. He will come in one of the pre-chosen forms. During the rectification of the Voldrani, the Traveler came as a large and moving torb. Then, during the third reconciliation of the last of the McKettrick supplicants, they chose a new form for him, that of a giant slore. Many Shubs and Zools knew what it was to be roasted in the depths of the slore that day, I can tell you.
There's something very strange about that man.
Keith, give us another one of your goods.
How tight the script is. What a great script this movie has. And I wrote down a little example. Like, it happened while I was thinking about how good the script and how it just keeps moving you along and gives you exactly what you need information-wise to get you to the next point. So, when Dana comes home after getting groceries for the first time, Lewis mentions that her TV was on real loud. And she's like, I don't remember leaving it on. So that's a sign of the further haunting that we start to see. But because the TV is on, she sees the Ghostbusters commercial, which tells us that, hey, they've established themselves now, and it's just, it does all this work to introduce this stuff without it being upfront and in your face. I don't know. It's really well written the way it moves from one scene to the next. It's a very good
Its exposition is done with these little tiny drops of things in the background, so that by the time a character blatantly explains what's going on you already kind of know before you got there, because you heard the ads, you saw them like getting work and such, and good attention to detail. They did feel like working outfits. They look like guys that had been, and maybe that's just because everybody had a fucking cigarette hanging out of their mouth in every other scene except for Egon, but hey, whatever.
Their whole persona, they're more like plumbers than scientists, you know what I mean? Like that's they work there in New York and they work practically in a garage, it's they're plumbers.
We had made the comment, I don't know if it was me or one of y'all, but that at the end of this movie, the movie was so tight and they were entertaining enough that they could have lifted the whole Ghostbuster thing out of it and made it about plumbing or something. And I probably still would have enjoyed it, because the ghost element was only a part of it. It was just the backdrop. Like the part that made this show interesting is watching these three very different characters bounce off of each other and interact with quote unquote normal people in society, and how that's what was fun about this. The plumber idea, hell yeah, I think they ran with that hard. They were just a utility like anything else. They were like firefighters or whatever.
Like when they go in the hotel, the guy says something about exterminators or whatever, and he's just like somebody saw a cockroach on 12th. He's got this fucking proton pack, crazy device.
Yeah, must be some cockroach.
Yeah. Also, in that same part, there's a lot of great stuff in the Slimer scene. Slimer, as we know, would go on to be a staple in the cartoon, The Real Ghostbusters, and as a child, I loved me some Slimer, so I always love that scene.
Slimer is like the same energy as when Garfield the cat dies, he comes back as Slimer, right? Like it's the same energy. It feels like he doesn't look like he's actually going to hurt you. The worst he's going to do is scare the shit out of you and slime you.
When Egon has the PKE meter and he's like getting readings and that guy's there, and so he touches him to see if he's real or not. It's so good.
And he looks disappointed afterwards. He touches him and it's just a normal human, and he's like, and just moves on like, oh well. Wonderful. I love the line that, speaking of the hotel room, where they come out and we came, we saw, we kicked its ass. Mm-hmm. I used that all the time as a child because it was so risque, because it had the word ass in it, and as a little kid. So yeah, I would, when we were playing backyard football, I would use that line after a touchdown and stuff like that, because I thought childhood me thought it was such a badass line.
The flowers are still standing.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Nice shooting, Tex. Like, some of these lines, I don't need to write them down. I just remember them.
I'm, after this discussion, I'm literally gonna download the Ghostbusters game that, I don't know if you've ever played it, but it lets you shoot the proton packs and they leave, like, fire marks on the walls and shit. It's the one from, like, 2013 or something.
Yeah, the one with the original cast where they said that this was the script from Ghostbusters 3. This would have been Ghostbusters 3 if they could have made the movie. I want to play that game. Maybe I will after we watch 2.
It's a good game. It's fun. Yeah, Walter Peck is in a full bodysuit with, like, the 3rd-degree burns over 90% of his body. Skin grafts.
I had not considered that until you said that, and that is remarkable to me that, all this melted marshmallow, like, they saved a lot of people's lives, but hundreds of thousands of people are going to be going to the hospital with severe burns and fumes and shit like that. Ugh. Think about all the bees and wasps that will eat all that shit up, like
ants,
the decaying
ants,
sugar
ants.
against the buildings.
It's fucking ants. Ugh.
Oh, yeah. Central Park would smell like shit for months.
Well, that's why we'll see in part 2, the mayor is very upset with them. They caused so much millions of dollars in damage and all that, so. Yep.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist. We can just put it back if you want. Like,
fucking Peter's saying when he goes to Dana's and she's possessed and she's like pawing on the bed at him, he's like, I guess the roses worked, huh?
He's such a pig.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, childhood me watching this movie, I couldn't imagine why she would go out with that guy in the symphony over Peter Venkman. And now I'm watching the movie and I'm like, no, don't reward this man for this shitty stalkerish behavior. He was supposed to be a professional and he came over and immediately started hitting on you when you're actually like experiencing trauma and shit. Like, no, that's a shitty guy. Do not reward this behavior. And then she starts falling in love with him. Again, fermenting the idea that, like, in old media, in the 80s especially, what I was taught as a young man is that persistence wins over everything. When you hear no from a young woman that you like, don't give up. Keep going. Like, I thought this was what good people were supposed to do. If you really like somebody, then you don't take no for an answer and you keep going. I modeled early relationships off this idea. I was horribly toxic because I misunderstood how things were supposed to work. And this movie is part of the reason for that. You're seeing that Peter Venkman, that woman is not interested in him at all. But if he keeps trying, eventually he will wear her down and win the prize. That's horribly toxic. And I didn't realize it at the time, but this movie definitely reinforces that. And
then his line, she's like, you want this body? And he's like, I think there's at least 2 people in there already. That's a good one.
Yeah. And that's where, like, he starts to win me back over through that kind of stuff. When he realizes that there's something serious going on here, he stops the macking on her and starts treating it like an actual person trying to help her. So we see in the end, he is kind of made to be a decent guy in the end. So I'm not hating on the movie and saying that this is a horrible transgression, but there's no denying it was all media. Yeah, it was in all media at the time. If there's a guy and a gal and the girl says to the guy, I'm not interested, by the end, he's going to have to whittle her down with persistence so that she's eventually like, fine, I'll fucking go out with you. Just stop fucking sending my parents dead wasps in a letter or whatever the fuck you do because you're trying to look romantic.
Who are you, Jared Leto?
Yeah. I will say one of the things I really enjoyed was the credits. I miss how a lot of 80s movies made the credits part of the story, whether it was like telling you what happened after the, like Breakfast Club where they tell you how people move on with their life or Stand By Me or something like that. Or movies like this where you're seeing wordless scenes afterwards with an actor's name next to them saying goodbye to the audience almost. And I fucking loved it. Like that, if movies did this more, I would stick around. And it's like movies in the 80s and maybe early 90s, they used their credits like this a little bit. Not all of them did, but a lot of them did. And then somehow we got into this thing as a culture where movies felt that, no, when the credits start, that's the end of the movie. We end the movie when the credits start. And then Marvel and a few other people decided to start bringing back, what about if we put something after the end of the credits, or what about halfway through the credits? And now we're where we're at now, where like end credits are like their own art form, where there are compilations where you can put entire storylines together from all the different end credit scenes and shit like that. And But back when they did this movie, I thought that this was brilliant. Just let us see a little bit more of the characters. Let us have some outro scenes, or like some movies would do blooper scenes in the credits and stuff. Like, I love that shit. Imagine if you went to see a 2-hour movie and 2 hours of it were entertaining.
Yeah.
What an odd concept.
The car monologue scene between Ray and Winston, when they're driving at night and they're talking about Judgment Day. That's always like, it's getting serious now. That's the moment and the mood. And I have this visceral memory of kneeling in front of the TV while, like Neil sitting, watching that and getting real close to the screen and like holding my breath while they're like, and the moon and the skies boil and the moon is red with blood. And it's like, I was just like, ooh, it's the stakes are high. It's just so good. And so that's,
and you know what's cool is as a kid, if you actually looked into like Revelations, a lot of that shit is in Revelations.
Yes,
and
exactly.
There's a part of me as a kid that's going, oh my God, some of this is like, quote unquote, real as far as childhood me understood, so it was cool. I love when movies connect to the real world because childhood me or even like adolescent me has a reason to explore that subject more to figure out how much of this is real, I'm getting near the end of my goods.
Yeah, so. I have two.
All right, Keith, give me one of yours.
Officer Winslow, Urkel's dad, and the cop from Die Hard makes an appearance as a cop. I love it. That guy's just an alternate universe. He's like, I was a cop, god damn it. So
my headcanon is it's the same guy.
Oh yeah,
who
absolutely.
Has seen some shit.
Yes, he's there for
By the
everything.
time he sees John McClane, he's just like, listen here, partner. I had a 500 foot tall marshmallow coat my entire city in lava marshmallow sauce.
My neighbor's son built a time machine or whatever, and androids.
I went to the same private school as Urkel for a small period.
Nice.
Yeah, I never met the guy, but he was as Jaleel White, the guy that not as Urkel. I'm not comparing. No, it was one of those where I heard about it, but he was in a different class kind of thing. And then somebody told me like after he had already left to go to a different school, cause he wasn't there long. He's only there for a couple weeks. I don't know why. Maybe because everybody found out who he was. That's why he didn't want to stay. I was a private academy. So like, I don't know, but
your lore is ever expanding. Now you have,
I've had several friends in my life that when they hear some stories, they're like, your life is like a bad soap opera.
You've now what it is once you read the fortune of Urkel's ghost. That's where we are
No, nothing. No, I passed his essence in a hallway, but that was just he had gas. So. And I don't even know if he actually did go to my school. It was just like what all the students and a couple of the teachers had hinted at, but they didn't. Nobody ever. Like I just said, I never shook his hand and he said, "Did I do that?" It wasn't like that.
Right, but you read the fortune of his ghost. Anyway. Oh, hello there, dear listener. I hardly noticed you over all of my coolness. Do you want to be cool too? Well, what would make you incredibly cool is to share our pod with someone that you love or with someone that you hate, depending on how you feel about the podcast.
He's right, We're a solid gift for people you love and hate.
Research has shown that when you share us with your friends and enemies, you feel 100% more satisfied in your life.
I have heard that study. It was a recent study. It was really remarkable work.
You know what else you can do? You could subscribe to us.
Oh my God, is that really?
Oh, that's
a
huge subscribe.
It's a huge ask. What a big ask.
It's not really. It's super easy. You just hit the little button. Boom. We show up in your podcaster thingy every single week without you even having to think about it.
Now that you mention it, it is pretty easy. Just hit the subscribe button. Like, how many buttons we hit to bring you this hit content every week?
You're going to be asking them to set it to auto download so that we are just waiting.
You know what? Yeah.
You are so
I'm
smart.
cool with that. You know how much work we put into making, the least they can do is share it with their friends and hit the download button, subscribe. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
We're trying to make it easier for you in the long run.
Yes, we're just trying to help you.
I'm just trying to help you.
I'm sorry, but I don't need your help.
Yes, you do, motherfucker.
Yeah, and while we're tasking you with all these chores, you might as well come yell at us about it on social media. We are on YouTube. We are on Blue Sky, not the bad place. We have a fresh, brand new Insta. We're on Facebook, so you can come share your slop AI images that your grandma sends you with us. We'll be happy to take them and discuss them. We have a Discord where you can come chat and post and interact with us. Tell us how wrong we are about our opinions on movies and post your page-long essays.
Or how very right I am.
I'm waiting for people to tell you how wrong you really are about Rise of Skywalker, but yeah, right now you're sitting easy because nobody's bringing up this huge gap that you have in your logic.
Hey, I hope no one brings up my huge gap.
Dirty.
It's not something that I like to talk about in public.
Well, you picked the wrong hobby to pick up, my friend. We also have a Ko-Fi page, ko-fi.com/screenshare, where you can buy us a coffee, rent us a movie, and a bunch of other stuff too. So, I mean, even if you don't want to spend the money, there are ways you can help us, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can get on and give us a review. You can tell Keith how wrong he is in reviews. You can tell Kelly how wrong he is in reviews. You can tell me how right I am in reviews. You can talk about all of it.
Why don't we spin this positively a little bit? Can we be? Let's try this again. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Because we all know that I'm the one that everybody agrees with. Always, all the time.
It seems to be the case so far. Yeah, really. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but it is. You're not lying.
So really what you could just do is leave a review that tells everybody how amazing you think our podcast is, and that's why you listen to it every week. We'd love that. We'd love that in participation, and we might even read your review in an upcoming episode.
But if you do want to spend the money, we are totally fine with that. We could use the support. That's why we put these ads in here, to try to drum up a little extra support for this pod that you know and love, that we've been working with you for a year, putting out quality content every week. Mm-hmm. And some of the ways you can support us is on ko-fi.com/screenshare, where you can rent us a movie. You can force us to watch a movie and review it. Be prepared. We might not always like it. You can make us read a message that you type out to us. We can play a recorded message. Again, all of these are within reason. We're not going to say anything horrible or mean to anyone in particular, unless it's really, really funny, I guess. And also, if you have a small business or a podcast or something that you want to promote, you can absolutely buy some ad time with us too. So look for us on ko-fi.com/screenshare, and you can find out all about those financial ways that you can help support the pod.
And hey, you know what?
We'll even propose to your future fiance for you if you pay us enough.
Right. It doesn't need to be a business you're advertising. Did you write a poem that you really like? We'll read it. We might snicker a little bit, but
Hey, no, we'll give an honest try to not mock any art that people send us, because that's art is a sacred place for all of us here. So,
and art is always subjective. So just because one person doesn't like it doesn't mean another won't. Keith,
except for the Rise of Skywalker, except for the Rise of Skywalker, which is objectively good.
Oh no! We'll save that for the pod. But thank you all for joining us, and now back to your regular scheduled rambling.
Back to the show. They keep referring to something as Tobin's spirit guide. Like there's a catalog.
I looked
catalog.
it up. It's not real, for the record. It's something they made for the Ghostbusters universe, but nowadays impossible to differentiate, because now if you do a search for the book, there are copies of the book out there, and I'm like, okay, hold on. When was this book written? 1987. Okay, it was after the movie. Gotcha. Okay.
But it's such a fun little thing. Like they're it's like Farmer's Almanac, but for ghosts. Like you look it up. Like
there's a ranking. Some ghosts have gone up or down in the hierarchy because of their actions in the last season.
It's just it's such a wonderful touch to this world, and it's sort of a micro cosm of like the entire thing. It's the fact that this movie it's so weird, like the subject matter and the people who are it's a weird confluence of ideas, and it's the fact that it works so good is just crazy, right? Like on paper, it sounds crazy. Like, why would you risk making this if you didn't have the right people in place? And I can't gush enough about this movie.
Well, speaking of gushing,
Well, it certainly calls for a dirty.
Keith is over here making ectoplasm over the movie, and he's gushing ectoplasm all over this movie.
Well, if that's it for our good, then let's go ahead and talk about the bad.
Speaking of ectoplasm, the first bad that I have written down, do any of y'all remember the toy slime?
Oh, yeah.
Parents hated that, and looking back, I understand why. It was just fucking goop. The worst parts of the it was just gross. It was half snot, half ectoplasm. It was just horrible. I
had a monthly Ghostbusters slime habit as a 5-year-old child. I had to go get new slime. Yeah.
Keith, this podcast is supposed to be PG-13, so we don't. Whatever your habits were when you were younger, we don't need to know volume. We don't need to get into.
After Ghostbusters 2, I always made sure to get the pink slime.
I don't know what to say to that. You rendered. I'm possessed. That's how you guys know this is the fake Kelly showed up.
I'll just throw mine in there with you. When the terror dogs look great most of the time when it's because they're not they shot cleverly around them, but when they have the few shots where they're in motion, you can like see the outline on them. It's like Alien 3 graphics, but that's what this says about Alien 3 is this movie was like, 15 years before, like 10, 12 years before it?
It was just the common, like even Superman, when you watch it from the 80s and 70s, like there's just this line around them. It's the best technology they had at the time. And, it's easy to look past. So that's why it's a bad, it's not an ugly. I can see why you would have it there. Cause like, it's and for me, it was the frame rate of those stop motion things. But either way, you could tell that they didn't quite exist in our world, but they did well enough that I don't know. You can look past it. One of mine is the library card mess. I just had to mention that, as a librarian myself. Now I'm lucky that by the time I got into library work, we don't have card catalogs like that anymore. Everything's electronic now. So, the positive is that we don't have all those cards to organize and do all that shit. So, that's nice. The bad side is that when our computers go down, like what was a year and a half ago when the cloud fire went down or whatever the fuck it was, our entire system was down. Like we had to keep pencil and paper notes of who was taking which book out. We couldn't do any requests from other libraries, that kind of stuff, because it rendered our entire system useless. So. But yeah, seeing the mess in the library and the stacking of the books and stuff like that, I'm like, you asshole, you just gave some poor page like 5 hours worth of work just to look silly, you bad ghost. You're not a good librarian. That's a bad librarian. She's trying to fuck with the pages. That's the librarian going, you didn't put my books where they're supposed to be. This is not nonfiction! And what was up with the whole mariachi outfit?
There's like a whole cut scene that has to do with where they were. I don't know the specifics of it, but yeah, so they decided to just put it in part of the montage, and because they're like, everybody wants to see the ghost blowjob, we can't cut that, so they have to.
Childhood me, I had to have explained by an adult, and they did it very carefully because they didn't want to, have the birds and bees conversation with like 6 or 7 year old me. But part of me, I was convinced that Ray was possessed. That's what happened to him. Like they undid his pants to like get in through his belly button or something like that.
Something about the way my childhood mind read it said the same thing.
Yeah, I didn't take it as a sex act. I didn't understand what sex acts were at that age. So like I just thought, and the way he rolled his eyes back, I thought that was the spirit going into his body. And the whole rest of the movie, I was concerned that Ray was a double agent. And when he did the whole like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, I'm pointing at the screen like Leo with the beer in his hand going, it's him, I know it, it's him. But no, it was getting a blowjob from a ghost.
I just remembered, I was like, wow, he got so scared that he passed out. I think that was my reading.
Oh, that could be it too. Yeah, yeah. All right, Keith, give us your bad. Your only bad.
What is this movie's agenda with demonizing the EPA? Like, it's so, like, it's fucking crazy, right? Like,
yeah, I didn't realize this. I did a little bit of research after we got done watching it just to see what people had been saying about the movie, just because I was curious what the critical reception. And there were so many think pieces done about this movie. Still to this day, there are people that are writing long scientific journal papers about this movie's Reaganomics and its connection to free form capitalism and free trade and that kind of stuff. And I was like, holy shit, y'all, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, this movie demonizes the EPA, demonizes government control in any way. It enshrines private enterprise as up there. Like, somebody can make a business and it's just as important as the police officers. You know, it's wild in that way. I didn't think about that as a kid.
Yeah,
the EPA is the villain. Think about that. The Environmental Protection Agency is the villain of this movie.
It really hits home this time, like, cause first of all, I'm watching it, like, seriously, you know what I'm saying, like, analyzing and taking in what's being put on it, and actually stopping to think about that. I'm like, wow, this movie has a clear anti-EPA agenda, and I'm sure, the EPA was much more new at the time, and was probably struggling to gain, popular public opinion when you come in with regulations. And I'm just like, woof, that's a bit heavy of a, thing to just shove in your movie there. But, it's apparent.
Yeah. In what largely is like a kid's movie.
Yeah.
we have ghost blowjobs and anti-government rhetoric in a kid's movie.
The ghost blowjob and the rhetoric, that's for parents.
Yeah. And if the EPA wasn't around, there'd be ghost blowjobs for everyone, kid. You know? Like,
yeah, that's so when your dad takes you to see Ghostbusters, your dad is like, fuck yeah, I like the way this movie thinks, or whatever, you know?
You get home from the movie, dad goes right to his bedroom, and dad needs a few minutes alone to think about, ghosts.
Yeah, give me the Ouija board.
Do you give blowjobs? Swings over to no. Fuck these goddamn spirits. The bad scientists in this movie, like, it feels like this is just a trend in science in general in movies that scientists are not very smart. Like, get him, collect ectoplasm with your hands, smear it on your fingers, like equating everything to end of times symbology and iconography and stuff like that. Like,
turn on your untested device for the first time in the middle of a public area. Your untested nuclear fission device.
And then after you have used the device half a dozen times or more, then inform your friends about the idea of, oh, by the way, if we both use them in this particular way, it will undo all of reality.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have mentioned that beforehand. Like,
I looked at the trap, Ray. When he's like, don't look at the trap. I looked at the trap, Ray. That's the don't stick your fingers in the fan thing, like the impulse control.
This is a perfect example of what these scientists were good at, is designing the proton pack and the ghost trap. Then somebody else should have taken their idea and used their concepts somewhere else, because they would have had less Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and traumatized clients that are getting hit on. So, and my last bad, and this is just part of the 80s, but definitely it's a sign of the times, is everybody fucking smoking cigarettes in every scene. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the judge busted out a cigarette in the middle of court and started smoking. Like, there's just constant smoking, and even the characters that we align with being good guys. Yeah, I know, and that's why I'm like, it's just a minor bad, because it's like, wow, no wonder why everybody smokes so much, because it was all over in media. Anybody that was trying to be cool or look cool had a cigarette hanging out of their mouth, and I mean, and I'm an ex-smoker, so I smoke, but part of the reason why I smoke cigarettes is probably because watching movies like this, there's that subconscious bullshit that happens, so. And that's the end of my bad.
So we are all out of bad. That means that it's time to talk about the ugly. I only have one, and I'm going to go first. All right. It's, I love, Peter Venkman, the character, but by today's awareness and standards, Peter Venkman is a predator. He's just, he isolates women, he blocks the doors when they're trying to close it. It's like, please chill out, Peter. I love you. Don't do this.
His sense of humor is great. His lack of boundaries and understanding about how to deal with women is horrible. And like I said, the ending kind of glosses over a little bit, and it turns him into a better person because of that. The ending where he doesn't take advantage of Dana when she's being possessed, and then you can see that he actually does care for her by the end. But that's the saving grace that pulls him out of the mud. That doesn't make him a good person. That barely saves him from being a horrible, evil person kind of thing. You know?
Yeah. Yep.
That kind of filters into my note, which is Bill Murray in general with a question mark. Now, those that might be following Bill Murray's personal story, he's an American icon for decades, and he's like a folk legend to the point where he'll just show up at people's weddings or at a bachelor party or random places and buy somebody a drink or a crystal goose or something random. And everybody quote unquote loves Bill Murray, except until about 6 to 8 years ago-ish or something. I forget the date, but some reports started coming out about him being very abusive to people on the set of different projects and also being sexually inappropriate with some of his co-stars and such. I admittedly didn't do a lot of research into it because I didn't know much about it at the time. I hadn't put Bill Murray on a pedestal, so I didn't need to knock him down in my mind. He was just another actor in my mind. But it turns out that when I did a little bit of research after we watched this movie, that some of his co-stars like Scarlett Johansson and people like that were originally in the anti-Bill Murray camp said that they have met with him and had serious heart-to-heart conversations with him, and he is pursuing therapy and trying to get better at doing what he did wrong. And the people that at least that have publicly come out and denounced Bill Murray have since come out and publicly re-endorsed him, saying that they believe that he is doing the right things to become a better person and that he's taking the right path. I don't know where he lands. It's not my job to judge him, but
I have a complicated relationship with Bill Murray because I like most of his, his output, his work, his career. I'm a fan of, but I've heard that while he is, friendly and shows up at those parties, that he's also can be a major asshole, and all those allegations that probably just rolls into being a major asshole. That kind of comes with the territory. So it's, I loved him until some of that stuff came out, and then I kind of had to do the, separate the artist from the art a little bit. But I mean, like you said, at least if nothing else, if they're saying he's, actually taking things to heart and turned around on the sort of redemption path, and the good for him, that's what you want to come from that sort of thing.
I saw an interview with a couple of people also that said that his difficulties working with people on set was more the idea of that you would never guess that looking at Bill Murray, but he's a consummate professional. So he doesn't like it when people fuck around when we're on the set and we're doing stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Christian Bale drop.
Yeah. Well, and also that's, as somebody that's worked on projects before, if you have a cast of people and everybody's fucking around and making jokes and doing stuff like that, some people think, this is a much easier going set and this is really fun and yada, yada. And somebody like maybe Bill Murray is going, you're turning an 8-hour day into a 16-hour day, you dumb assholes. Right. Let's do the fucking work and get out of here and go about our lives. But you're dragging everything out by making fart jokes and dick jokes. And I don't know. So who knows? Maybe him even being difficult on the set was just him being like, come on, let's get to work. Let's get the shit done so we can move on with our lives. Like, who knows? Who knows?
What don't you fucking understand? I'm gonna fucking kick your fucking ass. What don't you fucking understand? I'm gonna fucking kick your fucking ass. What don't you fucking understand? I'm gonna fucking kick your fucking ass. What don't you fucking understand? Give me a fucking answer.
Well, there's a phenomenon. You know how you see pictures of 30-year-olds from 1970 and they're like got comb overs and like they look like they're like 50 or 40 or whatever. What is that phenomenon? Mm-hmm. Why do people look older, younger? Has health science like really increased that much that we're preserving our bodies at a better rate?
Just think if you walked on the set of Cheers in its heyday. That right now, all three of us are older than almost everybody in the cast.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
I'm older than Norm, than Cliff.
Stop.
Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, Woody, sure, but not the rest of them. That's it. When we get done here, I'm going to go play with my G.I. Joe toys and put on Mask the cartoon in the background.
Look, this conversation reminds me, so I have this theory, and it's funny, but it's also a serious theory that I hold. So when was drinking while pregnant really pushed for to be like, hey, this is bad? It was in the mid to late 70s? Is that when that started to happen?
No, I think Keith might be right, because by the time my mom was pregnant with me, she knew that. Like, she wouldn't drink when she was pregnant with me, because it was widely accepted at that age.
It didn't get saturation into everyone's mind maybe until the mid 80s, but it started in the 1970s. So think about that for a second. That means that practically there's so many people drink. Human beings drink alcohol. It's one of the major things that we ship around the world to each other. It's a huge part of human history, and it's one of the go-to the vices that people have, and everybody has a vice. So it's a huge thing. So everyone, before this was common knowledge, throughout history, leaders, emperors, there's a non-zero chance that we have been led up until recent times, or maybe they haven't even peeked their heads in yet. Yeah, currently, by people who have suffered some degree of fetal alcohol poisoning. Like, everybody throughout history, it's that has not been common knowledge until like the 70s. Or isn't that terrifying? That's terrifying, right?
Yeah. So everybody that's there is, and probably a combination of a lot of these factors, like smoking, drinking, lead in their paint, just a bunch of little things that over the years, and for us, it's microplastics and that kind of shit. So
every important decision that has led us to where we are has been made by people who have been potentially altered in some way. It's just a funny,
but also look at
fact.
how the culture has shifted too, that nowadays people might look a lot younger and their bodies might be in better shape in some ways, especially aesthetically, but the average reading level has gone down.
Right.
The media literacy has gone down. Polarization over political topics has increased. People are going to look back in 100 years, if we still have a society, and think of us as like those poor social media riddled microplastic floating brains that these people had in the turn of the century, and that's us. Yep. So, yeah.
And thus ends our discussion of Ghostbusters, the movie.
Hey, maybe this conversation isn't exciting enough to make everybody else ectoplasm all over themselves.
Again, dirty.
I mean, it's too late. Keith brought it up, and it's out there in the universe now. So I think we're stuck.
I'm proud of what I did.
Yeah, I'm sure Peter Venkman was thinking the same thing when he was rolling around on the... Anyway, so now that we've talked about the good and the bad and the ugly, it's time for us to talk about our 3 questions and our final question. So the first of the 3 questions is, if this were a movie replaced entirely by the cast of Muppets, except for keeping one human character, who would the human character be?
Dana. Or, Rick Moranis is another good point. Yeah.
And the obvious choice would be Venkman, just keeping Bill Murray, making all of his snide comments about the...
Yeah.
And that would mean that Dana would be Miss Piggy. And I think she would have a very different response to him, like, kissing on her while she's asleep. There might be a hiya in there.
If it's Bill Murray or Dana, then obviously Gonzo is Lewis. Picture Gonzo with the colander on his head. You can already see it.
Or Animal might be a good Lewis.
Oh,
Animal might be fun for that.
I can see that.
Key master! Get key!
Yeah, it's Gonzo. It has to be Gonzo. They even dress the fucking same. It's 100% Gonzo.
But where would we fit the chickens?
They'd be all the ones at his party. That's who he'd be throwing the party for his
all the
clients.
chickens are the people at his party.
Yeah.
So it still has a chicken fucking element to the movie. You can't have Gonzo without him fucking a chicken somewhere, or trying to. All right, so the second question that we ask is, if this movie had a promotional popcorn bucket, what would it look like? This movie might have even had a promotional, a lot of these movies from the 80s did have some kind of stuff going on.
Ghost Trap. You could eat the popcorn out of Slimer's ass.
You could. Yeah, I mean, with a little bit of ingenuity, you could do that today, I'm sure. You could eat some popcorn out of the Slimer's ass.
Some cosplayer that'll make you have that dream come true.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to top the ones you've already said, so we'll just go.
Okay.
Last question out of our 3 is, what is your MVP for this movie? The most valuable person. It could be something eclectic like the set design or the way the light hits somebody's face in a certain scene, or it could be a character or an actor. But what's your most valuable part? MVP for me is Rick Moranis, because the movie itself was fine, but what got me back into this viewing and re-appreciating this movie for the first time in many, many years is just watching Rick Moranis. And I challenge anybody that's watching this movie, just pay attention to Rick Moranis anytime he's on set. Even if he's not the main character, just watch him. He's so good.
I'm going to break the mold, and despite some of the quote-unquote controversy, I'm going to say it's Bill Murray is the MVP of this movie. I think he makes the Ghostbusters work, because otherwise it's just two kind of, like, know what they're doing and excited about their field scientists, and then there's just this guy who, like, doesn't want to be bothered, and he does it anyway. He's Peter Venkman is one of my, even in the cartoon show, one of my favorite characters. In spite of all we've said today, I think he makes the whole thing gel together. So I got to give it to Bill Murray.
There's no denying that you're, like, I think if we interviewed 100 people, 85 would say your answers. So, like, there's no denying that he is the star of this movie. That's part of why watching Rick Moranis this new time around was so refreshing, because I had somebody else's incredible humor to focus on for the movie, and it was an unsung hero kind of thing. So, all right. So now that we've asked our 3 questions, the only question that remains, the only question that really matters, is when it comes to Ghostbusters, did you enjoy the movie, and would you give it a thumbs up?
You really want to do this? Here. Now, yes. Okay, let's do it!
Yeah, I mean, I could walk out into my living room, and someone, for some circumstance, could have me, like, oh, I have to watch Ghostbusters again right now. I wouldn't feel like I'm wasting my time. I love this movie. I've seen it over 50 times, I'm sure. That's probably a conservative estimate. Full-throated endorsement of Ghostbusters. How about you, Kelly?
He full-throated it with a full load of
don't do it! Oh, God damn it!
Yeah. If he was slimed, he would take one for the team and swallow it down. And yeah, of course, I'm going to give this a thumbs up.
Perfect.
This movie is a classic. There's a reason why I picked it. I was not expecting to revisit it and hate it. I was expecting to fall in love with it again, and I did. There's a reason why this is so popular and so well liked over the years, and it has rewatchability by focusing on different characters, which I was not expecting. I thought I was going to be kind of maybe a little bit bored halfway through once the nostalgia wore off, but finding Rick Moranis revitalized my love for the franchise, and I'm looking forward to seeing 2 and looking at 2 with these new eyes and seeing how much I enjoy the art dealer and the main bad guy and all that stuff in 2. I remember those being pretty fun. So
yes, I'm excited.
All right, so those were our thoughts on Ghostbusters 1984, the first one with Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, and Ivan Reitman, and it was really good. I had a really good time, and especially after The Conjuring, to go into a ghost story that was fun, I mean, funny enough, it still has men being kind of creepy men, but what are we going to do, right?
Yeah, what are you going to do with men? They're there.
All right, so those were everything we had to say about Ghostbusters for now. If we missed something, of course, there's a bunch of trivia and facts that we didn't get. So if there's something we forgot about that you think is worth mentioning, let us know on social media, which we've told you about a million times how to get in touch with us. Discord, Facebook, Instagram, all the above. But in the meantime, for Screen Share and Chill, I'm Kelly.
I'm Keith.
Clean up your ectoplasm when you're done. Maybe you can find a good sock for that.
You know what they say, bustin' makes me feel good.
I'm going to call the police. You go ahead, call them! Call anybody you want. They can't do anything to me. Not anymore. And nor can any of you.